Funding for Shaperillis is provided by Surfshark VPN. Tune in until the end to find out about their amazing service. Hey everyone, I'm back from my year of not watching any kids cartoons. I think I was just feeling burnt out on a lot of them because I was tired of all these overarching plot lines and lore that were stretched out between tons of filler episodes. Once Steven Universe Future ended, I figured a break was in order till something really special came along, like the next Avatar or Gravity Falls. And I think I finally found it. Infinity Train.
Hey James, there's this totally fun new character-driven lore-filled cartoon on Disney Channel. It's called The Owl House. Watch The Owl House. It's just one season, so it's not that big a time sink. Hoot hoot.
Yeah, both of these shows are excellent, but Infinity Train is going to be much harder to dive into because it's, quite frankly, a lot. So we'll save that for a later date. Let's talk about the fact that when I hoped for the next Gravity Falls, I didn't think I'd get it quite so literally. The Owl House feels like a true spiritual successor to Gravity Falls, probably because its creator, Dana Terrace, started out as a storyboarder on Gravity Falls. Also, she's dating Alex Hirsch, who made Gravity Falls and who voices some characters in this show, just like in Gravity Falls, so that might also be a reason why.
What are you talking about, James? Sorry about that. I don't see what you're talking about, though. This show is completely different from Gravity Falls. It's about a goofy teenage girl who lives in a magical shack in the woods with a wanted criminal elderly person who's a bad role model that deep down genuinely cares about the child they've taken in. Also, there's a demon with a high-pitched voice that comes courtesy of Alex Hirsch, who elects to use the exact same voice he did for Bill. Yeah, I guess this is Gravity Falls 2.
It's more than that. The Owl House is... Oh, by the way, this is Patrick, in case you haven't watched any of the videos he's appeared in previously. He introduced me to the show, obviously. But yeah, the Owl House kind of feels like a mixture of Gravity Falls and Star vs. the Forces of Evil, without any of the latter show's downsides. Instead of having heavily lore-focused episodes, the plots are much more episodic and focused on different magical concepts, just like Gravity Falls. That show had stuff like a shrinking episode and a body swap episode, and so does this show. It's that sort of thing. But there's also undercurrents of this magical society having a ton of secrets to discover. The first season slowly builds up its mysteries over time, but it's not like you're constantly waiting for answers. You watch the show because it's a legitimately charming slice-of-life magic adventure series, much like Gravity Falls was. The ongoing mystery is just kind of a nice bonus on top.
Plus, just because the show is mostly episodic doesn't mean that the status quo is stagnant. While the main plot is pretty unintrusive, characters will still go through arcs throughout the course of the show, so the lessons learned in one episode will carry in the rest of them. You can see everyone's tangible development, and that's great to see. It's nice to have another show where the plot is in service of the characters rather than the other way around. The overarching lore is just an excuse to see these lovable characters interact in interesting and most of the time perilous situations.
Anyway, we should probably talk about those characters, huh?
Hold it! Nothing is sacred in terms of spoilers, so watch at your own risk.
So, our main character is Luz, which I pronounced as Luz for the longest time. Whoops! Luz doesn't fit in the real world, so she gets sent to what I assume is that one reform school from Phineas and Ferb for the summer. But she doesn't go there because she finds a mysterious portal to the Boiling Isles, a land of magic and witchcraft, and so on and so forth. She soon meets the mysterious owl lady Eda and her demon roommate King, who, yes, has the exact same voice as Bill Cipher.
It's not every day you get to go to the dump and pick apart a garbage carcass.
Reality is an illusion, the universe is a hologram, bye Gold, bye!
Oh, the irony. It's hilarious how the Bill voice goes from being used for an invincible interdimensional demon that commands respect to a little baby Cubone thing that is never taken seriously.
Luz also makes new friends who go to this magic school that she eventually enrolls at. On that subject, I actually really liked how she doesn't immediately enroll in the school. It only happens like a little over halfway through the first season. It's a neat touch that makes the pacing feel more realistic, since she needs to take time to hone her unique magical abilities instead of just immediately jumping into being the first human at a mythical wizard school. Anyway, Luz meets Gus, who is just kind of a huge human fanatic, Willow, who is kind of boring boring, not gonna lie. I don't really care for her that much. And Amity.
If you know anything about the Owl House, then chances are you've heard everybody sing their praises about how expertly written of a character Mittens is. So much of the discussion surrounding this show is dedicated to Amity, and it's easy to see why. Unless, of course, you haven't seen the show, in which case, second spoiler warning, because it would be more interesting to see the direction Amity's character goes yourself.
Amity is an instance of a clear improvement over one of Gravity Falls' old concepts. She's basically Magic Pacifica, but instead of waiting till the second season to kinda redeem her in like one episode and then not use her again, she's one of the main characters here and her development is really neat to see. Also, instead of teasing the idea that Pacifica might get with the main character romantically, they go a lot farther than that in this show.
But Mr. Schaff, wouldn't that make her gay?
Yes it would. Amity develops such a hard crush on Luz and it's so wholesome. Apparently Dana Terrace had to push really hard to let Disney make her characters gay, which doesn't surprise me. If anything, I'm surprised Disney actually said yes in the end. But yeah, these two are a really well-written pair that you definitely want to see come together eventually. The fact that all this groundwork for a same-sex couple has been laid out in season 1, rather than waiting till the final episode like most other animated shows, is pretty nice.
Luz brings out the best in Amity, making her a better person, and Amity helps bring her back down to earth when Luz bites off more than she can chew. The two are so perfect for each other, and that's illustrated so well in their Grom dance. And I mean illustrated so well, literally. The Owl House's animation becomes very smooth whenever there's a big fight scene, but they made sure that this scene was given the same fluid animation because this is an equally big moment. Not just for Luz and Amity's relationship, but for representation in kids' cartoons and Disney media. I do imagine that in season 2, this relationship will only become more overt, but that might result in Amity having an even greater conflict with her parents. I just hope that Dana doesn't have any more conflicts with Disney about this. As of now, I am cautiously optimistic to see Lumity develop.
Amity also has these two siblings who look suspiciously like Link and Zelda, and then there's this background character that looks exactly like Saria, even though none of my friends believe me when I bring this up. And also in one scene, Eda has a bunch of human world junk, and one of these things is a Solid Snake body pillow. Yeah, there's a lot of fun geeky references in this show. I mean, in the first episode, Luz says this:
I like editing anime clips to music and reading fantasy books with convoluted backstories.
It's all pretty charming and fun stuff.
So you got the general gist.
You get it!
Luz is one of the most adorkable protagonists ever, Amity is one of the best developed characters ever, but I've got a boiling hot take when I say that I'm not super into Eda. Wendy Malick is a talented actress, but something about their vocal delivery in this show just seems kind of lackadaisical to me. There's no range in Eda'S voice, in my opinion. She has the same snarky yet monotone voice in every situation she's in. Most of the time, that fits Eda, but she still doesn't have much energy in her voice when situations get serious or emotional for her. As a result, her relationship with Luz still feels one-sided, even in the situations where she acts motherly towards Luz. The writing of Eda is great, but the delivery of her lines is off to me. Another problem I have with Eda is that I feel too much of her development in the show revolves around her relationship with Lilith, who, unlike Eda, is a character that I am sure I do not like. Lilith, when we first meet her, has an interesting dynamic going on with Eda. She's the rule-abiding leader of the Emperor's Coven who's trying to arrest Eda for her many crimes. Also, they're sisters. I love Lilith's design, and she seemed like an imposing presence after her first epic witch battle with Eda, but she ends up being a really pathetic threat throughout the season. Turns out they're just a Team Rocket type of villain, and by the end of the season, well, that would get into more major spoilers.
Fascinating stuff. Counterpoint, I love Eda. She's a fun character with the exact same vibes as Grunkle Stan. She's completely irresponsible and a terrible person to be looking after a teenager, which makes the hijinks she gets into all the more enjoyable. Plus, she is pretty world-weary and knows how to avoid certain traps that the naive Luz wouldn't think twice about jumping into. I think the relationship between Eda and Luz is particularly strong, especially since she gains a much greater appreciation for her as the season progresses. She also has this curse that turns her into a monster unless she drinks some magic potions to control it. There's plenty of episodes where she needs to get more magic potion, plus episodes where it runs out and Luz and King are forced to deal with the monster version of Eda. I just think it's really compelling stuff. Like, it's kind of a metaphor for a chronic illness that gets worse over time, and it's really powerful to see her try and cope with it, and see her friends do the best they can to help her. But I agree about Lilith. I don't like her.
Okay. I see what you're putting down.
I'm not putting anything down.
I'm not saying Eda is a bad character, but I do think her having a strained relationship with her sibling and being a con artist that learns to become a better person through the actions of the goofy kid they took under their wing is a bit too similar to Gravity Falls. But I guess Diet Grunkle Stan is still Grunkle Stan. Eda is hilarious regardless of how her lines are delivered. However, I take offense to your slandering of Willow's name. I think for your generic nice girl in the group, she has much more going on with her. What with her past with Amity. I like how despite the fact that Amity wants to make amends, Willow is still not 100% forgiving, which is very interesting considering she's usually the moral compass of the group, and yet she has quite the dark side.
True. Anyway, another nice aspect of this show is how creative the episode concepts are. Like I said, there's plenty of standard, fantastical episode storylines like body swapping and shrinking, but there's also episodes where Luz and King are forced to write a best-selling book or else they get crushed into tiny squares, so they have to work in literal crunch time. There's one episode where a subplot involves Eda and King raising some horrifying abomination bat children for money, and then it comes back in the main plot of a later episode. There's the aforementioned Grom episode that takes a look at what a prom would be in a magical world. Basically, if you're Grom Queen, you must battle the immortal demon Grom that will destroy the entire world. So you don't want to be Grom Queen. The show just keeps these fun concepts coming and it always feels lighthearted and fun, except for the moments where it knows to be serious and somber. Mainly the last two episodes, which are mostly pretty strong dramatically and shake up the status quo in interesting ways. There are some small problems here and there, like I don't think it's quite as laugh out loud funny as Gravity Falls, though it still is really funny. I also really don't understand why Eda is a notorious wanted criminal and yet she markets her wares in broad daylight and strolls around like there's no problem all the time. Like, I don't know why Lilith and the rest of the Emperor's Coven have such a hard time catching her. This is a random nitpick, but while the Understanding Willow episode is really good, I feel like the concept of burnable photo memories that damage the original person's actual memories is like absurdly dangerous. How is this something that's allowed to happen in school? I don't know, this is a school where this is what happens when you get detention, so I guess it shouldn't surprise me.
And now major spoilers, because I have some beef I want to vent about in regards to the last two episodes. Not to say that these episodes are bad, far from it. The finale provides some of the most epic, intriguing, heartbreaking, yet heartwarming moments in the entire series. The problems lie with the antagonists. Also the fact that they write Amity out of the plot. So in these episodes, we meet the big bad boss Bellows, who's been alluded to throughout the show's run. There's a lot of mystique behind his origins, and instead of giving him a generic deep evil McDarkness voice, he sounds very refined. So far so good. Then he reveals that he's been lying to Lilith in regards to healing Eda'S curse. No, that's not a good... Okay, backing up here a bit, Lilith's main motive to capture Eda is because Bellows promised her that he would heal Eda'S curse, but he's just fibbing out his ass. It's honestly a big pet peeve of mine when villains don't hold up their ends of deals. It's much more interesting when a villain fulfills their promises, but does so in a roundabout way that's still a negative outcome to the protagonist. With Bellows faking it, how can we determine if anything he says about the Titan's will and whatnot is true? That may be the point, considering this guy is a master at censoring and revising history to his liking, so maybe we're supposed to view him as some sort of false prophet. It's too early to say, so as he is now, Bellows is a mixed bag of quality. Although it is pretty sad to see Lilith think she's saving her sister, only to realize that she doomed her sister to petrification. Oh wait, it's not sad because Lilith is a terrible person and character. As if I already didn't dislike Lilith before, it turns out that she was the one who cursed Eda the whole time.
I saw that coming like halfway through the season, FYI.
Now, as a concept, I don't mind this twist, and she makes for an actually intimidating villain with her putting Luz in moral danger to get to Eda. It is because she makes for such an evil antagonist that her 180 shift to becoming one of the good guys is extremely jarring. I think they should have spaced out her redemption arc over the course of another season. Like, maybe she comes to find disdain for the Emperor's methods naturally over time, rather than just being forced to turn good to save her sister. It's in character for her to not want her sister to die, so that's why they shouldn't have gone with this liar reveal plot in the first place. Eda'S life didn't have to be in danger for Luz to still mount her rescue mission. What if Bellows just straight up couldn't heal Eda'S curse because there's some sort of magical restriction where only the caster of the curse can heal it? And since Lilith didn't truly know how the curse works, she doesn't know how to undo it. Then while Luz fights Bellows, Lilith can start to make amends with Eda by sharing the curse with her, just like she does in the actual episode. Lilith wouldn't be on the good guy's side, she just doesn't want to see her sister suffer from a curse that was exclusively her mistake. As it is now, the characters don't seem to hold any vendetta against Lilith, which is just ridiculous. That could change in season 2, which is important to keep in mind. I may not like certain directions taken in the finale, but what they do with these plot threads in season 2 could change my mind. Plus, it's not like the finale was all bad. Lilith sharing the curse with Eda is still very touching. The fight with the two of them is amazing. All of Luz and Eda'S interactions in this episode are heart-wrenching, and we're left with tons of mystery about where the series is going to go from this point. I mean, I guess Dana did offer some insight into what we can expect in season 2. It's gonna have parental conflict, a lot of emotions, island exploration, and new characters. Hey, I wonder why she arranged these 4 lines of text like how she did. Oh. Ooh boy.
Yike. Anyway, overall this series is great so far, and I cannot wait for season 2. The Owl House is exactly what I've been missing. A show with a lot of deep and interesting lore that doesn't rely on that as the primary drive to watch it. Instead, it's a series of really fun, magical slice of life episodes that develop the characters more than the overarching story. I've had a hard time getting into a lot of Disney Channel shows over the past few years, and even the ones that did grab me initially really unraveled as time went on. But as long as the Owl House continues its commitment to really fun developed characters and non-intrusive dramatic reveals, I think it might be on track to exceed Gravity Falls. It's easily the best Disney Channel show since Gravity Falls, and I highly recommend hopping on Disney Plus and giving the first season a watch right now. Come on, you know you have Disney Plus. I know you've been watching WandaVision and The Mandalorian and the Falcon show maybe. Just watch the Owl House too. It's so good. I give the first season an 8 out of 10, and if I believed in decimals, it would probably be an 8.5. But decimals aren't real, so it's not. Well, Patrick, what say you?
I have just this to say as my closing remarks. King and Gus are funny, but between the two of them, I can't decide which one is funnier. It's not like there's any other extremely funny main characters. Can you think of any characters that are always there in most episodes, having nothing but a bunch of comedy to spout?
Nope, I got nothing.
Aren't you forgetting the funniest, most popular, bestest, everyone's favoriteest guy in the whole Boiling Isles? That's right, it's your faithful pal Hootie, reporting for duty. You're gonna talk about me, right? Hello? Is anyone still there, Hoot Hoot? This cosmic dance of bursting decadence and withheld permissions twists all our arms collectively. But if sweetness can win, and it can, then I'll still be here tomorrow to high-five you yesterday, my friend.
Okay, I can't keep the bit up any longer. Hootie is my favorite character in the entire show. He's so funny. I love it when characters are constantly ignored by the other characters, even though they're legitimately useful in the right circumstances. His voice cracks me up. It's like a combination of Gingy and Pinocchio. How the hell is Alex Hirsch so good at being a vocal chameleon? I will never understand it. Okay, bye. Thank you for this blessing of a character, you guys. Actually, never mind. One more thing for real this time. Punished Hootie. A house demon denied his respect. I mean, Hootie does such a great job of protecting the Owl House and all of its data. He's a lot like a VPN. And you know what's a great VPN? Hootie VPN. Wait, that's not real. Surfshark VPN. An incredible product that encrypts your data and protects you online. Surfshark VPN allows you to access geo-restricted content, meaning you can trick your browser into thinking you're in another country, thus allowing you to access content you couldn't get otherwise. That way, you don't have to physically travel to another country to watch that country's exclusive Netflix content, for example. You can also use Surfshark and its Surfshark alert system to get alerts anytime your email address or password is compromised. Surfshark Alert scans various databases of leaked information and notifies its users if their data is found so they can take action, which is an absolutely invaluable feature. Surfshark is also totally unlimited, meaning you can use it on as many devices as you like, even all at the same time. No other VPN allows this. Go to surfshark.deal/Rillis and enter promo code Rillis to get 83% off and 1 extra month of Surfshark VPN for free. It's an amazing deal, and it's even better because it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not satisfied, you can cancel during those 30 days and get your money back. Once again, head to surfshark.deal/Rillis and enter the promo code Rillis. Have a great time with Surfshark VPN.